Okay, now let's see how to convert an infix expression to postfix. So normally when we consider the expressions which we write in the program, we only have expressions written in infix form. But considering the priority of the operators, the expression when it is evaluated gives the right result. We do not dictate any priority of the operators when we write the programs, but then the system understands the priority of the operators and gets the expression evaluated right for us. How it is done basically. So it is actually done in two phases. Like whenever you run a program, that program will be first compiled and then executed. So during the compilation phase, the expressions what we give in infix form will get converted into postfix, and then it will be evaluated during the execution phase. So now let's see how this infix expression could be basically converted into postfix manually first, and then let's see how it is getting converted with the help of stacks that are implicitly implemented by the system when the things are getting compiled and converted. So now let me explain you the method of converting infix expression to postfix manually. Let's take an example expression which is shown here on the screen, and this expression has the operators like plus, star, minus, par, slash, and a par symbol. So we have different kinds of operators, and all the operators which we have in this expression are binary operators, which means that every operator to operate, it needs two operands. And we could see that the operator comes in between the operands on which it's going to operate. And we also know the priority in which these operators has to be evaluated, and to get the result right, we have to follow Bode-Morse rule. That is, the highest priority operator has to be computed first, or the part of the expression or the sub expression which includes the highest priority operator has to be evaluated first. So in that case, like we have to evaluate 3 par 2 first, and then 5 star 5 par 2, and then like the priority of any operator will be like overridden when the user gives a parenthesis or when he puts a bracket around some particular operator. So in this case, this plus actually overrides the priority of all the other operators what we have in this expression. So we have to evaluate 8 plus 48 first, and then this par symbol, that is 3 par 2 and 5 par 2, and then we have the star, minus, and slash, of which star and slash has got the same priority but higher than this minus. So coming from left to right to evaluate, we evaluate the star, then we go for evaluating the slash symbol or the division symbol, and then we just evaluate minus. So here, considering this hierarchy or the priority of the operators, the first step in conversion is to fully parenthesize the given expression. So in order to fully parenthesize the expression, as I said, you're going to consider the priority and put brackets. It's very simple. So the brackets or the parentheses which had been already given in the expression are not going to be disturbed. So we just leave it as it is, and we take this as one operator operand, and the remaining operators are going to be now considered according to its hierarchy or the priority. So here the operator star, minus, par symbols what we have has to be considered now. So considering these operators, we could understand that this par symbol, that is this exponent, has to be evaluated next to this 8 plus 48. So what we are going to do here as a first step is just to put a bracket over there. So now we're going to fully parenthesize the expression and show you how to parenthesize the expression. Now we're going to just put a bracket considering the priority. And now the next operator that has to be parenthesized is again a par symbol here what we have, because the operators that are left now for us to consider are star, minus, and this par symbol. So of these three operators, this has the higher priority. And reading the expression again from left to right, we could see that we are left with star, minus, in this division. And evaluating the expression from left to right, we consider the star first. And so we just put a bracket over here. And now we are left with two other operators, minus and slash, of which obviously the slash has to be evaluated or applied first. So I just put a bracket over here. and then to fully parenthesize the expression, we just put a bracket considering the other operator minus. So this is the first step. We are done with the first step in that case. And now the next step is to map the operators to its nearest closing parenthesis. So now in order to do it right at every point of time, what we have to do is we have to consider the sub expression that is there in the innermost part of the expression. So if you just look into this expression, the inner sub expressions are as 8 plus 48, then 3 power 2 and 5 power 2. So now considering this 8 plus 48, moving from left to right, I consider 8 plus 48. So I just try to map this plus to its nearest closing bracket. So I show you how we do this. So this plus gets mapped to this closing bracket which occurs first when we read from left to right. Similarly here, now considering the next innermost sub-expression, we have this bar symbol which should be mapped towards nearest closing bracket. So here we have this one. And now considering the next in order, we have this bar symbol, so which is mapped towards nearest closing bracket. And what else is left to us? And we have the star, minus and the slash to be mapped next. So reading from left to right, I could say the star could be mapped to this bracket which is closest to it, and coming to the next innermost part of the expression, we map the slash next, and then this minus getting mapped to the last closing bracket. So this is step 2. So here what we have done is like we just started reading the expression from left to right, and once we find a closest bracket to the operator which we read in the previous step, we just mapped that operator to the nearest closing brackets. Now we are done with step 2 and proceed with now rewriting the expression in order to get the postfix form. So here to have a postfix expression from the given infix expression, what we do is we'll just read from left to right again and just drop all the opening brackets, and whenever we read an operand, we simply copy it to the resultant set, and whenever we read an operator, we just try to move the operator to its mapped position. So here we read the first six elements what we read here in the expression or the opening bracket, so we just simply drop it, and the next one what we read here was 8, so we've just taken that to the resultant list, and now proceed with reading the next one. So next element what we read here is plus. So here this plus is going to assume a new position. It is not going to take the same place where it was previously, so we just leave it for now and proceed with reading the next element. Next element what we read here is 48, so we just copy that 48 to the resultant set, as this element 48 is an operand of the expression, so we just copy it to the resultant set and proceed with reading the next one. So when we just try to read the next element, we could see that we read a closing bracket which has to be replaced by its mapped operator, so we just copy this plus in place of this closing bracket, and proceeding in the same way, we just take this star to a new position. So star is not going to be copied over now or to the resultant set now. Instead, we just move to read the next element. So next element what we read here is 2. So copy the 2, and next is a closing bracket which has to be mapped, which was mapped with star, so we just replace that with star now, and next element minus, it is going to assume a new position, so just leave for now, and the next two elements what we read are opening bracket, so we just drop, do nothing, proceed with reading the next one. And here we have 3 right next and then operators, so do nothing now, proceed with reading the next one, and we have 2 red, so we just copy it to the resultant set. Then we have a closing bracket red which has to be replaced by bar symbol, and then again an operator which has to be taken to a new position, and now read 5, then 2, then we have part,